All right, Heidi, we done on questions right now?
Yes, no questions right now.
Okay, good. All right, so who's engaged with your content? Social, email, social, and website analytics. So, sales strategy using analytics. This is the cooling tower refurbish or replace dashboard for who opened, clicked, and looked at the Bondwater Asher 188 email that we sent out. And we know for a fact that we had 327 opens. Now, I don't want to have a long conversation on this call about opens and what are opens and non-opens, but opens basically. Here's all you need to know about opens. It's opens means that you have pictures. The pictures are set to open. If you know how most of your phones or your desktop says, would you like to show pictures in this message? If the picture shows up, it will count as an open. If the email is actually open and the picture shows up, it'll count as an open. If it opens on your desktop without the picture firing up, they may read the email, but they don't count as an open with these email programs because it's just the way most of them work. But this was a huge success. And what I talk about being the biggest success of this is over in the click column. We sent this out to 1,400 people. Way more than 327 opened it, I guarantee you that. It was opened a total down here of 1,123 times. This email was forwarded over and over and over again to different people within organizations. But the clicks is through the charts. I mean, so we spent time and money producing a video to really tell a story, storyboarding it, and then we had almost 100 unique clicks go to the website. And I know who each of those people are through the analytics that I use in tracking. So we'll know if a building, somebody that manages a building of, 20 different buildings went in and took a look at it. And we'll know what they looked at. And here on the bottom, you can see 165 clicks. So this tells you what's working and not working. And it's fascinating data. And, it's a little spooky. But it's who we are today. I mean, everything you do online, people know what it is. You either join in or say you're worried about tracking information. But everything you do online, somebody's watching where you're going and what you're doing. This is the open rates and times and everything else for another email that I sent out. This was a smaller level email, but it gives you an idea. It shows what was clicked over here, what parts of the website were clicked and went to. It shows you some of the people, specifically these names won't make any difference to you, but you can see this shows open 30 times, open 27. And then this is the analytics based on, this is my own email that went out, and I was talking to John Mavrides at Bond yesterday. He said, even though it's your own personal business email that I sent out back in May of last year, I cut out the last names on some of these so you can't really tell who they are. But these are people in my database list that I send information to. And some of these, open my email quite a bit. Some of these are really good prospects for me. Some of them are friends. Some of them are just sharing it. Some will open them multiple times. But the bottom line is, I can call anybody on this list, and I would not call and say, hey, I saw you open my email. But from a sales strategy, if somebody's going, I just did an email for a client, not too long ago. We had 5 minutes spent on the page that we set up for them, meaning that I sent an email out that drove people to a page like this on the website, and everybody who went to that site, there was over 250 people, I think, spent 5 minutes on that page. So think about that. If I could tell you I'm going to give you 250 targeted names, let's say a quarter of them are good, and that they spent over 5 minutes on that page, and here's who their names are. I mean, what type of contact information is that for sales follow-up? And you would call and say, hey, I wanted to make sure you got my email. Did you get a chance to look at it in depth? And they would say, yeah, I looked at it. I thought it was great. And sometimes that's all it takes. So utilizing the back end's critical to kind of tie it all together. And then this is just on the analytics for Google. It just tells you some pages that were visited through This is an early email we did. I think we did it for Bond. It was on education or something. Yeah, it was on education. And we drove 130 unique page views just to I think it was a seminar deal. So pretty cool stuff. It takes process, it takes time to build, and you can't do everything at the same time. But this is the things we work on with our clients. So okay, so that's it. Do we have questions? Anybody, anything else? But before we fire off in questions, go to the end of this. If you want to put back in that window real fast, Heidi, before people start to bail out, if you want a free web consultation or if you want to sign up, I'm going to break this webinar out into sections once Heidi sends it to me. All you need to do is just, send to me via what you see on the chat window over there. Click on that, sign up for my newsletter. In the comments section, put please share with me some insight on and could you give me a free website evaluation? Here's my website. You can also do that via email, and then I will send follow-ups for the PowerPoint and other stuff there. So great. All right, so let's see what the question is. Google Analytics something you can tie into any site, or do you have to use Google to somehow host the site? Hey, Kevin, good question. So Google doesn't really host sites. Google is, as I've learned over the last few years doing a lot of stuff with Google, Google's incredible with the tools they offer. Google offers you an enormous amount of tools, from keywords to analytics tracking for your website, and Google gives you a code that you place into your website. So what happens with the analytics is that you put the code into your website and it tracks page views and activity on your site. And I don't have the time to get into it right now, but the mail programs connect with Google and tell you who clicked on links, what specific people clicked on links by name, because they're part of your email database with names. And then when you click on that link, as if Jim Weisskopf clicks on a link and goes to the AWT website, AWT theoretically would be able to say, hey, Jim clicked on this and wanted some information from it. We saw he downloaded this document. So if you and your company have some questions about that later, feel free to ask, and I can answer some of them. Other questions? Anybody? We asked all the questions already? Heidi, see anything else?
Yeah, we have a few more.
Okay,
we have
good.
a question on ROI on marketing costs. How do you evaluate different functions of integrated marketing campaigns?
Okay, so the answer is if you're going to do pay-per-click, and look for an ROI from pay-per-click, you're going to know what clicks come into your website and which of those deals convert into opportunities. ROIs on doing web development and interactive marketing, you have to track your leads. There's only one way to do it. It's not rocket science. I mean, I laugh about this, but it's almost rocket science to think that today, if I were to tell you 5 years ago or longer, or maybe 3 years ago, that I can send an email and track what you do online to my website, and I can use that for sales targeting, you would go, you're crazy. If I could do that, I'd make so much money. So what I'm finding today with companies is they're not putting the energy on the back end of making sure that the sales organization, and this isn't across all companies, but the sales organization has to be accountable to follow up on these, what you would call soft or hot leads. If you send an email out and people are engaged with it, and you go to your salespeople and say, hey, have you been in touch with so-and-so, then, the odds are good. I mean, you got to look year-to-year revenue growth, but, that's the only way I know how to do it, if that makes sense. Next.
We have another question about the time frame for a web redesign. How long does that normally take?
It depends. I mean, I've done some things that have been really fast, and I've been involved with things that have taken a long time. It depends on the content you have. I'm looking at one that came off a call yesterday, that they may just want to slap some lipstick, so to say, on the site, make it look prettier, make it look more engaging, make it a little more interactive, and that would be relatively quick if their content's good. There are other scenarios where you need to build shopping carts, you need to build a ton of sections. When we worked on John's site, it took a long time with Bond just because there was a lot of data and there was a lot of attention to detail. So, but I can answer that offline too for anybody who has that question, and just track me down and I can help answer that question. Next.
Looks like those are all the questions we have right now.
Okay, well, great. So really, that's it. I appreciate everybody coming in and spending time today. I'm hoping to grow my business with helping ADWT members and other people down the road. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with Bond and some of the other vendors we're showcasing, and I'm looking at some pretty cool ways I'd like to figure out how to maybe showcase vendor products across multiple markets around the country. I think there's an opportunity. I come from the broadcast business where we would, before Rush Limbaugh was, around, radio stations were all local, and then Limbaugh came and he was broadcast, in Sacramento, and then it was in San Francisco and Sacramento, and then it was sharing that content in other places around the country. And, broadcast is the same way. As you guys are, there's content that your vendors supply that is shareable across multiple markets. A lot of your work's done for you already. I'm going to embark on some new opportunities with Cindy, I hope, with Guardian and her team, and help them grow. And I'm hoping that with John Peterson and Bond and Cindy, we can share some content that cuts cost and really helps build their business and educate their customers. Because cooling water and boiling water services are pretty much, from my layman's knowledge, pretty much similar across the country. So, I encourage you guys to reach out to me and let me know if there's anything I can help you with. This is a sample site. I'll send this out to anybody who wants to take a look at the PowerPoint. And that's it. There's my contact info. So I greatly appreciate it today. Heidi, thank you so much. It's been a great 2 days.
Great. Thanks so much, Jim. We really appreciate the presentation. We got some good feedback on it.
Okay.
And thank you, everyone, for attending. So later today, we will send out Jim's contact information as well as the PowerPoint slides, and also the webinar will be posted on the members-only portion of the website later this week. So thanks so much, everybody, and have a great week.
Great. Heidi, I'll follow up with you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Take care.